Hello everyone, my name is Judy Sherman and I support Monica Martinez for the next 5th District Supervisor. I want to welcome you all here today and express gratitude from the campaign to all our volunteers, our supporters, our sponsors who made this exciting event happen. So I know a lot of you, some of you I don't know. I lived in the San Lorenzo Valley for over 40 years and I've raised a family here. And I'm part of this amazing, vibrant community of people who care about where they live and who actually spend time making it the place that they want it to be. I am as excited about Monica's candidacy as I can remember being for anyone who I voted for. Monica is solid. She's really anchored. When you speak to her, you know that you're connecting with someone who is driven by the values of family and community and service. Service to ensure that we all have a voice, that we all have access to the people who make decisions about the things that impact us. Monica's professional experience in leading a large agency requires an approach to administration, to advocacy, and to negotiation to ensure that what she stands for receives its fair share of the assets and the resources that are out there for us to be able to have access to. And I believe that that's what she will do for us in the 5th District. The sun is so bright here, I can't even see where you are, Monica. Oh, there you are. So Monica has raised a family in the Valley, and she is engaged, an engaged community member of the entire 5th District. So I'm honored to be your host today, to welcome the people who are going to speak about Monica, and then we will introduce Monica herself and hear from her. So with that, let me start by introducing you to our first speaker, DeAndre James, who's a Scotts Valley resident and the Executive Director of the Community Health Trust of the Pajaro Valley.
Well, if you don't know, my name is DeAndre James. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Health Trust, but I'm also a great father, or I think I'm a great father, of 2 beautiful kids, 10 and 8, right, who also go to Scotts Valley High schools, right, also a standing member of a lot of different things that we do in the community, as well as the Falcon Club for Scotts Valley High. So, it's a great saying, and I can't remember the exact words because I'm remiss by those, but the saying somewhat goes, it's not necessarily what you do in life, it's what you do in the dark that defines you. And so for those who don't know Monica and what you don't see her do in the community, I have the pleasure to see. So that's why I'm here, to tell you a little bit about that. And so if you don't know, Monica's worked tirelessly on diversity, equity, and inclusion for not only this community, but for the county of Santa Cruz, period. And so through her work in Encompass, I get to work with her next to her at the Community Health Trust, and we get to work side by side on those different things that you don't see. And so that's the person you want representing you, not only for this area, but for the county, because she's already been doing it, right? And so you want her to be in the forefront of that all day, all along. And we make jokes back and forth that who's gonna do it today, and it always ends up being Monica first because I'm slow, and I try to get there, but she's pretty quick. You know she plays softball, okay? All right, where is it? Fair enough. But so I'm just here to represent, and say that not just being here in this county, but it's huge for Scotts Valley as well. Because Scotts Valley School District has been going through a huge change to bring diversity, equity, inclusion in the school district and bring it throughout. And so somebody who already has that background, already knows the work, already been there, that's the person I want leading the show. And especially for me, being an African-American male in this community, right? There's only 4 of us. I know the other 3, don't worry. There's a pager on them, we'll talk later. But I make a joke of that, but diversity, equity, inclusion is not just for one style, one freedom, one that is for everybody, right? And so if you think you don't need it, the fact is that's a joke because you probably already need it and you need it even more. So I appreciate letting me come up here and speak. If you want to hear any dirty stories about Monica, we can talk about that on the side, but we'll keep those clean for this particular point. But really, truly, folks, I'm happy to be here to represent and say that if you want that person to be that show and be in front, she's already been doing it behind a closed door. Let's just open the door and let her do it in front.
That is really well said. Thank you, John Dre. I just want to take a second to invite you all to look around who's here. This is, you talk about diversity. This is the diversity of generations here and the people who support Monica are across the generations. We're bringing families into this campaign in a way that I really believe hasn't happened so much before. And that's a testament to Monica and where she's at, not only in her life, but in her community. So enjoy all the folks that are here, little, big, medium, and somewhere in between. Our next speaker is Becca Rubin, who's a resident of the San Lorenzo Valley and president of the Bobcat Club at San Lorenzo Valley Elementary.
Hi everyone, I'm Becca Rubin, as Marianne just told you, and I'm a 22-year resident here in Felton. I'm here tonight as your neighbor, a parent, and the San Lorenzo Valley Elementary School Bobcat Club president. I want to share why, as a mom of an 8-year-old girl, it's essential to have a diverse and engaged leader who truly cares for our community's success and well-being. As a mother, I can confidently say there's no greater joy than seeing your child grow and thrive. But being a mom also means being a role model and an advocate for a world in which our children will live. And one of the most important values we can instill in our children is the value of diversity. Diversity is not just a buzzword or a feel-good concept. It's a necessary element of our society, especially in our political system. When we have a diverse group of people in leadership positions, we are better equipped to make decisions that reflect the needs and experience of all members of our community. We've been through a hellish 3 years here in the Valley. Not only do the last 3 years feel like a decade, but it also feels like a game of Jumanji that we have yet to win. Is anyone familiar with those movies? The COVID pandemic hit in early 2020, shut down our lives as we knew them, cutting us off from all social ties, a depressing time for us social butterflies. Then we had Zoom kindergarten, forcing me to become an elementary school teacher. COVID wasn't bad enough because then a massive wildfire broke out and raged through our Santa Cruz mountain community. Jumanji level 2. I know we're all still traumatized by the fires because my daughter still freaks out when she sees smoke. But we're lucky we didn't lose our home, and I vividly remember the day we evacuated. We're packing our car, and Evie asks me, "Will we get to come back?" And I thought, I don't know what to say, but I prayed that we would. Q winter 2022, Jumanji level 3, can we get a break? The worst storms we've ever seen hit our county, scary wind and rains knocking down trees left and right. People have no power for days, school was canceled, roads were blocked. And you couldn't get through. And to top it off, it snowed, but that was actually kind of cool. My point is, after all of this turmoil, it's made us stronger as a community. However, we've been failed by our elected officials. We're not being heard, and it feels like SLV is an afterthought to the rest of the county. Why is it taking so long for our fire victims to rebuild? Why do we have some of the worst roads in the county? And how can we make sure our schools remain competitive to retain our teachers? If we want our local government to truly represent our community and needs, we need leaders who reflect our community and live in it. We need people who understand the struggles of our working class families, who can speak to the needs of our LGBTQ community, and who can advocate for all of us. We deserve someone who can bring fresh ideas to the table and work collaboratively to find solutions to the challenges we face. And I'm excited because Monica brings all of these qualities to the table. She inspires me as a woman and mom because not only does she have a demanding full-time job, but she's a dedicated and an amazing parent. I see her at school functions, softball games, our kids' softball games, all over the place. And one of the reasons I ran for Bobcat president was to make sure our parents had a voice at our school. And I know that Monica can be the new voice that our community needs. So join me in continuing to teach our children the value of diversity and the importance of using our voices to create a more just and equitable world. Go, Monica. Thank you.
So before I introduce our last speaker, I just want to say how honored I am to have been asked to host this, and also to recognize how many of you here, I keep wanting to say in the room, but I know we're not in a room. How many of you here are dedicated to service? And it's that dedication to service that sets us apart. It makes us an uncommon kind of community through this whole district that Monica is up to represent. And with that, I'd like to welcome Fred Keeley, who is the mayor of Santa Cruz, our former 5th District Supervisor, former state assembly member, and state Santa Cruz County Treasurer.
Good evening. How's everybody? All right. Good, good. Well, it's an honor to be speaking on behalf of Monica. 1988, Ron Seckel, a few other people around here kicked off my campaign for county supervisor, 1988. And so I have a little bit of a feel, having served in that capacity for 2 terms. And I'll tell you a couple of things about representing the 5th District. It is very different than almost all the other districts. And the reason for that is that the bulk of who you represent are here in the Valley and in rural areas outside the city of Scotts Valley and outside the city of Santa Cruz. And what that means is that Monica's running for 2 jobs. She's running for supervisor. I'm going to get to that in a minute about why I think that's important. But she's also running for mayor. And what I mean by that is, when you're the 5th District Supervisor, that's who people go to in the unincorporated area. You are both their county supervisor dealing with county issues, and you're sort of like their mayor because you're dealing with all these other issues that would normally fall to a municipality instead of the Board of Supervisors. You want to get a building permit, you go to the county. You want to sign up for Medi-Cal, you go to the county. You want your road paved, you go to the county. So you're both a county supervisor and a mayor. And it's a challenge, because this is not a shy district. This is a very engaged, active community. And I want to comment on what the last person said at the end of their presentation. For some folks in elective office, there comes a moment, and it's not always clear what it is, and this doesn't apply to everybody. But some folks who've been in office a long time, no matter how good they are, how kind they are, how decent they are with other people, if you see this pivot, it's time to make a change. And what is that pivot? That pivot is when an elected official stops being your representative to the government and starts being the government's representative to you. That's when it starts going to hell in a handbasket. Your current supervisor, anything that I did in the California State Legislature as Speaker Pro Tem under 3 speakers, anything I did that you say, hey Fred, good job, you did this, you did that. I always tell people thank Bruce McPherson also, because as a state senator, I always needed his vote. Because anything that matters in Sacramento, you need 2/3 vote. And we had majorities, but we didn't have 2/3. So when he was a state senator, great job. A state assembly member, good job. Secretary of State, good job. First part of being a county supervisor, good job. But it is time for this change to take place. This is the time to do that. I love Bruce McPherson. He's one of my closest personal friends. It's time for a change. What's that change should it look like? We have an opportunity. This is what's nice about these changes in representation. You get to pause and say, now, what is it we need exactly? So you look at that Board of Supervisors. I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Look at the board, what do we need? From the board out into the community, what is it we need? Well, we sure as hell need a woman on the Board of Supervisors. One of my colleagues here almost got there. And in a certain way, I'm glad she didn't, because now she stays on the Santa Cruz City Council, and I love her to pieces. She's spectacular. Shepard Kalantari Johnson, who is just an absolute damn rock star. But we need a woman on the Board of Supervisors. A woman of color, my goodness. A woman of color who also happens to be gay, my goodness. What are we getting here? This is fantastic. So that's the board look. That's looking at the board and you say, yeah, I think it's not a stretch to say it might be time for a woman on the Board of Supervisors again. But if you're on the board and you're looking out into the community, what is it you need? Counties and cities are really different. Cities are not small versions of counties. Counties aren't big versions of cities. Why God created counties is to deliver state and federal health and human services. That's why they exist. Now let's see. Do we know anybody like that? Who might have some background, some skill in that area, some understanding of the complexity of the funding sources and the service delivery all over this county? Yeah, we sure do need somebody like that. Someone who has spent their life in that world. We need someone, I'll say this, Jack, I love you dearly, brother. We need a San Lorenzo Valley resident to be our supervisor. Because Jack, you do a good job over in Scotts Valley. And I do a fumbling job in the city of Santa Cruz. But where she's really going to make this thing happen is in the San Lorenzo Valley. 1977, I moved to a home. I bought my first little house. I mean little. 3 miles north of Boulder Creek. Lived there for 27 years. Went and represented you in the state legislature. Came back, bought a home in Santa Cruz, corner of Water and Market. I've never left the 5th District. From 3 miles north of Boulder Creek to right downtown Santa Cruz. 5th District stretches a lot of territory. And having Monica be the person who represents that area, who interacts regularly with the folks I interact with in the city I have the great privilege of being mayor. Jack, she's going to do a great job for you. Going to be a partner with you on the things you want to get done, on transportation, on human services. You know that, Jack, and it's great that you are here. And here's the final thing I want to say. You get these opportunities not very often. Do you know that feeling sometimes? People say it a lot. Like, is this the best we can do? Is this the 2 choices I'm stuck with? Is this how that's going to work out? The answer is not this time. This isn't lesser of 2 evils time. This isn't, well, I guess I'll shrug my shoulders and cast a vote. This is an enthusiastic vote. This is, I'm proud to put this sign up. This is, I'm proud to be an endorser. This is, I'm proud to walk my precinct. I'm proud to have my coffee in my neighborhood for Monica. Because it's right there. Recovery, resilience, and representation. That's what she's about. It is a great honor to support you, my friend. It is a greater honor to invite you up here and launch your damn campaign.
Wow. How's everybody doing? How am I doing? Wow. Well, my name is Monica Martinez, and I'm proud to announce my campaign for 5th District Supervisor. Before I get started, I just need to take a minute and look around at all of you. I am so incredibly humbled and grateful that each one of you took time to be here today. Thank you to my family, to my friends, my colleagues, and the campaign team, everybody who helped me to be here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and where I came from, but I'll tell you this right now. That little girl from Bakersfield could have never imagined in a million years standing up before you today announcing that I'm running for elected office. The 5th District is my home. It's where Jen and I are raising 2 beautiful children who attend SLV Elementary. So shout out to all the Bobcats out there. It's where I play softball with the Tailgaters. And where I coach soccer for Scotts Valley SLV Soccer Club. It's also where, like many of you, I faced the retching fear of losing my home when our family evacuated due to the CZU fires. As the CEO of Encompass Community Services, the largest health and human services nonprofit in the county, the 5th District is also where I worked with others to bring COVID vaccine pop-ups when our district was left behind, and where I partner with other nonprofit and business leaders to address an array of social, emotional, and mental health needs. I've dedicated my life to public service. It runs in my family. My father was a fire captain for Kern County. My mom was a school teacher, 1st grade teacher. She's right there. Thank you for being here. Working to make the community a safer and stronger place was a given in my family. I did well in school. I loved the outdoors, and I had a really comfortable life. But as I grew up, I began to experience the harsh reality of discrimination. I was a high-achieving student from Bakersfield, headed to Cal Poly to major in agriculture, but my Catholic Mexican-American upbringing didn't prepare me for the challenges that I would face as I began to chart my own course in life. I came up against the forces in society that are designed to alienate and minimize those who don't fit a certain mold. For the first time in my life, I experienced rejection because of who I am. And I also felt what it was like to not have a voice. But there was light too. There were teachers and mentors who taught me that my authenticity is my strength. And they encouraged me to use my newfound courage to create a better world for others. I left Cal Poly with a degree in political science and headed to USC, where I received a master's in public administration, so I could focus on building communities that would amplify the voices of all people. So my first job out of grad school was for a public sector management consulting firm, Deloitte. It was a Fortune 500 company. They recruited me hard, they paid really well. It was a prestigious job, so I gave it a shot. But my heart wasn't in it. I knew I wanted to make a greater impact, which is why I found myself in Los Angeles serving the most vulnerable women who are experiencing homelessness on Skid Row. And for the first time, I felt like my work was aligned with my values, that my voice and my vocation were finally one and the same. And my time working on Skid Row didn't just reinforce the value of service. I also came to the realization that big societal problems require bold and systemic solutions. The Downtown Women's Center was the first program in the nation to advance the idea of housing first. People experiencing chronic homelessness don't need more shelter and soup kitchens. They need safe, permanent housing with supportive services to help them stay housed. This was my first time leading systemic change, and I became clear that in public and social systems, just because something is the way it's always been does not mean that it works. I came to 2010 to Santa Cruz to lead the city's Homeless Services Center. The idea of housing first in Santa Cruz County was still really radical and controversial. But I worked to bring everybody together who was impacted by homelessness. The business community, law enforcement, the faith community, social service providers, elected officials, neighbors, even folks experiencing homelessness themselves. Together, we launched an audacious goal to house 180 of the most medically vulnerable individuals in less than 2 years. And together, not only did we meet our goal, but we exceeded it and housed over 200 people by the finish line. So I've been told that I'm fearless and also just a little crazy when it comes to tackling really big problems. And it's true. I embrace what most people find overwhelming because that's where the greatest impact can be made. For the last 9 years as CEO of Encompass, I've worked to address health inequities across the county. I led a healthcare workforce of almost 400 people through the pandemic when the healthcare industry was turned upside down. I've raised $14 million of the $15 million we need to build a new behavioral health treatment center for the Latinx population in Watsonville. And I've done this while being a mom and a foster parent, an active member of this community, and I've had plenty of moments of joy with my family and my friends. I'm telling you all of this because I want to share how much my experience meets this moment. The issues that I've wrestled with, both personally and professionally, are the same gnarly issues that we're facing today. Exclusion, whether that's because of who you are or what district you live in, where you live. Access to affordable housing and healthcare, better economic conditions, a protected and healthy natural environment, and the need to respond to all people in all corners of our county. I'm ready to bring that spirit to the 5th District as our new supervisor. I know how to do this work. I forged the partnerships at the local, state, and federal levels. I understand that public service is about good governance, integrity in action, and listening to the voices of others, especially those who are frequently unheard. And ask me what I'll stand for as your next supervisor, and I'll use the 3 words that Fred just shared here. Recovery, resilience, and representation. So let's start with recovery. I know firsthand what our community has endured with the back-to-back pandemic and fire crises. And although we're used to dealing with road closures, power outages, connectivity issues, this winter has been one for the ages. The COVID pandemic further isolated our seniors and our youth. The opioid epidemic and youth mental health crisis has hit our families harder than ever before. I'm running to ensure that our district recovers from past disasters and that we are prepared for whatever the future has in store for us. Resilience. It is not enough to just survive. Our kids, our natural environment, our businesses all deserve to thrive. We need a much, much louder voice at the table. Our gorgeous mountain and valleys are filled with hardworking people, from lifelong residents and essential workers to tradespeople, young families, and commuters. You wouldn't live anywhere else, and neither would I. I'm running to build better systems to advance the 5th District as a healthy, inclusive, safe, prosperous, and joyful community to achieve our dreams. And finally, representation. Wouldn't it be a refreshing change to have a woman's voice at the Board of Supervisors? How about somebody who knows how to fight for justice and fairness? How about a representative who lives here in the heart of the district and who understands our historic challenges with firsthand experience? I'm not afraid to push against the status quo because my convictions are based on facts and fairness. I'm running to represent the needs of every single person in this district. The 5th District is my home. I want to create sound public policies that improves the lives of my very neighbors. You know, up here, we're often seen as self-sufficient, and we are. We're often assumed that we're taking care of ourselves, and we do. Our self-reliance is an incredible strength, but we deserve more. We need a louder more insistent voice at the table so our community isn't an afterthought. We need greater attention to our unique needs given our landscape and our history. We deserve visibility in terms of what we contribute to our county and also what we expect from it in return.
Yeah.
As you've heard tonight, expressing an authentic voice is something that is extremely important to me. Being true to who I am is something that I've worked on for a very, very long time. It's what enables me to be a humane and authentic leader. At the same time, I know that it's not just my voice that counts. It's yours. I pledge to listen, to seek to understand, and to work tirelessly to amplify your voices on behalf of the changes that you want to see. So I hope you will join my campaign to bring a strong voice to the county seat. This is going to be a tough race. I'm up for the challenge, but I need your help. Every single one of you. There's something you can do today to help. Please, connect me with your neighbors, with your friends. Let's have coffee. Bring me to your groups. Bring me to your parent groups. Make a donation if you can today. Make a monthly donation if that's easier for you. Take a photo, please, today, and share it. And we all know you have to share it when you get home because we don't have good service out here. Share it later and tag me, okay? And let's keep talking so that way I can better understand your hopes and dreams for this beautiful community that we live in. So let's raise our voices together and let's make the 5th District your home, my home, our home, thrive like never before. Thank you.